it's the crack of the morning and the sun every single day is having a hard time rising up, rising up. It's really getting to be fall. It's getting chilly out there. And I'll tell you, summer, spring, and the fall has been unbelievable. But let's go outside and do a little bit of gardening and a little bit of cleaning up just before we get into the winter months. I'm going to tell you, it's coming soon, and let's see what else we can get ourselves involved in the garden today. Okay, so we just finished doing a little cleanup around the yard here, and we're going to put down some fall fertilizer to get the grass ready for the spring. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go up north, and we're going to cut the fields up there, but let's go see what kind of foliage is going on up there. Let's go for the ride. It's a beautiful day here in New England. Let's get up there and see what's going on. Let's go. Hello everybody, this is the White Mountains of New Hampshire. I'm going to tell you, it's mid-October. It's unbelievable, the color out here. You've got the maples, you got a lot of the birches in yellow out there. It is phenomenal, phenomenal, the color up here. As you see, the crest of the mountains and the color. This is like a picturesque picture. Painting. If you see the way the color just flows, and there's so much energy. If you're walking, you're driving, or you're just running, or even on a bicycle, look at the view that nature brings out in the trees. Well, pretty soon, everything's going to be white. So let's just kind of go and see what else we can see, the magic of trees and the color. So I thought it would be fun to narrate this on myself as we take a little walk up here. You can see the birch trees in the fall give you that nice yellow color. And look at the texture on the actual tree itself. It's like, look at me, I'm a tree. We'll just follow this little trail here and we'll see all the maples and the oaks. And they have the unbelievable huge color this year. Nothing like a nice crisp day with a nice hike. Look at the birches up there. And what's perfect is, as you can sit here and have a little picnic lunch, you can enjoy the view that nature gives you in the middle of the woods. Here's a bunch of birch. Look at this. You ever see that you can buy in your garden center the birch logs that people put in their fireplace? Well, this is where they come from. And of course, nature dissolves itself and the tree broke down and now it's breaking down. If you see, there's some little saplings right in there that already started to grow from the birch right next to it, always changing up. But look at that. It's not painted, it's a beautiful birch tree, and there's another one right beside it. Look at this, fall, fall, fall. Nature saying, look at me, look at me. Here's another area up in the White Mountains. It's Prospect Mountain. And look at the color up there. Lots and lots of red. Lots of red. I'll tell you, it's a really good season. Whatever it was, rain or heat or whatever have you, this is really good color in the mountains. Here's another beautiful tree. It's called the white pine. It's the eastern white pine. And this is growing up here in the White Mountains as well. It gets beat up by the rain, the sun, and the ice. And then, of course, the heavy snow that they got up here. Look at that. And it's pretty rugged. And right beside it, you have a white spruce in the middle of the forest, and those do very well in nature's own way. Well, everybody, have a really good fall. I've got to get going before it gets dark. It looks like the sun's just dropping over the mountain right there. I got to go out and mow the field and get it done before nighttime. I got about maybe an hour and a half of daylight, and I've got to get this done. So be good and enjoy the rest of the fall. So I hope everybody enjoyed a little bit of nature this year, this summer, this spring. This is nature's way of saying goodbye, go back into the home, go into your shelter. It's going to be cold. You can feel it up here. It's actually really cold. That's why I'm wearing a hat. Usually I have the summer attire, but it's cold up here. So I'm wearing a little different attire here. But this is unbelievable. A lot of people come up here. They're leaf peepers. They come up in their own cars, their buses. They come camping, and they get to see all of this all around them. And they enjoy it on the weekend. It's getting a little late into the season. There's nobody up here all day long. I met a couple of loggers. I met some people that were working in the yards. Some people cutting their grass for the last time up here on their little lawn tractor. But if you look here and you look at the texture and the design that nature has done, you've got three, pines here and a balsam in the background. Look at the hills. How did those get formed? How did the trees grow on them? Why are the colors there? Why is the rocks there? All these questions. It's nature. And you can create not this big giant painting in your garden, but you can create it by trees and shrubs and rocks. All nature. You don't have to go crazy. It's creating things, get a piece of paper, draw it all up, and then make it simple. Simple is the best way to make it flow with your eyes. So it's an enjoyable moment in your yard or wherever you are, and it just feels good. Well, everyone's gone home, I guess, for the season. They're all bundling up, keeping warm. I'm going to end the season up here, and I'll tell you, look at this. It's unbelievable. I got one more thing to do. I got to go up, and I got to mow the field up there tomorrow morning, further a little bit up, an hour away, and have some fun and cut it all up the grass area, and hopefully save some hay for next year. But be good all. Thank you for tuning in, and keep watching. I'll tell you, I just wanted to give a narrated show about trees in the fall. I hope you enjoyed. It was fascinating as much as I had a fascinating day. Look around, enjoy as we flow out to the trees. It's so quiet up here. You know what's really, really awesome? One thing that nature always just keeps giving, it gives you shade, it gives you color, but then when it's all done and it's just given up and it gets cut down, it gives you a place to sit down and enjoy the view. We got the Fat Albert Blue Spruce. Look at that. Look at the color. It's looking and it's saying, I want to compete. I want to compete against the trees and the mountains. Look at me. Could you imagine decorating this tree with white lights? Beautiful. And this is a nest spruce, which is always evergreen, and it stays flat. And that looks really rich in this garden. But the best part about this garden right here, it just goes in a whole circle. It leads out, and it's a beautiful landscape, and it enters into this rock, and then of course you'll have the golden Mount Washington Railroad. Look at that. That's a work of art. If they could just build these now in the 20th century, could you imagine just riding this in the steam, going up and looking at all the trees and the shrubs and everything that nature has on this, in the little car right there, and having a little snack. That would be great. Here's a nice little Austrian pine, and those you can grow pretty much everywhere. They grow kind of erratic, but it almost, to me, looks like almost like a western type of a tree. But the way you look at the landscape here, they have a few of those planted here, and they're in the rocks, so you can tell that they're very drought resistant. Not that it was droughting part of a year, we had a lot of rain, but they look really good here on the Riverwalk. I wanted to show you this shrub. We're up in New Hampshire right here. This shrub is called burning bush, and unfortunately you can't get them at garden centers, home centers, anywhere in Massachusetts, and I believe it's Rhode Island and New Hampshire. So if you have one and it got planted, or it just got planted by a bird, etc., somehow they're banned. You just can't get them, and no one can sell them, legally anyways. And I guess the story behind it is birds used to eat these berries, the small little berries right here, and they used to drop them randomly, and this plant is very invasive and grows out of control. But what's interesting is that this burning bush has almost like a hexagon type of a branch, and that's how you know that it's a burning bush. But I mean, one thing I can say is, look at the color. And look at this. I mean, that's so rich. But we can't have them in our garden because you just can't buy them. But there's another one over here. We're gonna go across the lawn right here. And here's a little one. And this one's the same thing. And if I zoom in a little bit here, you can see those nasty berries that the actual birds and deer eat, and they drop them. And this plant here is called, or is, invasive, but the branch, if you look close, it's almost like a hexagon, and it's got little knots on it, little white, but that's how you can tell that is. But I mean, in the fall, look at the color. Unbelievable. The burning bush. That's on fire. Mums and kale are the best things to plant in the garden right now. They're not really a perennial, even though a mum sometimes somewhat comes up in the yard, but they're good. The kale do very well, and you can even see them popping up during the middle of a snowstorm. But they stay usually till January, February, and they kind of disappear and crunch up. But the mum is a pretty hardy flower, and it likes cool nights, and it likes warm days, and cool nights and warm days. And that does pretty well even up here in the White Mountains. The views up here are fantastic. There's a whole bunch of little birches right there again in yellow, and then all the oaks and maples mixed up with balsams right there. Pretty soon it's Christmas. No landscaping here, no humans involved. This is just nature doing it its way. Look at the way the hills just flow evenly. It's almost like an ocean. Look at the deep, deep, rich color that is forming off the mountain. All the trees, all the pines, all the balsams, all the maples, all the oaks, all here fall up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire.
I think the season was really, really good as far as the fall. We had a lot of hot days, but we had a lot of rain. And if you look at the colors on the tree, I've never seen these in years and years and years. I mean, look at the color. And then, of course, the American flag. You just can't make this up. That's art. This is the Mount Washington Cog Railway. It goes up a huge incline into the deep in the middle of the White Mountains. And I'll tell you, if you look, the gear system on this engine is unbelievable. It actually powers up the hill in a very, very steep incline. You ever have a chance to come up to the White Mountains and jump on? It's beautiful, and especially in the fall. I mean, you can't make this up. Pinch me. Are we in the middle of this? It's like a big, giant painting. Look at this. Hills, mountains, and water. It's fascinating. No, it's nature. Reds and yellows and greens all mixed together. Fall at its finest. And then you got a nice Fraser fir that is mixed in with the bundle. Now here's a nice little oak tree. It's like a little sapling, but it's got some nice brilliant little bit of orange and a lot of yellow. And this maple here gives you some rich color all the way up into the top. Look at nature. It's developed a painting. You can create something like this in your yard, but this is nature doing it the best. So if you look at the view here, I mean, these mountains were made by nature. Look at these mountains. Look at the way they all curve together. Well, right here, I am in the deep of the White Mountains. I am at this area in the White Mountains. It's right off the highway, and it's called Echo Lake. If you look at the views, the way that the mountains flow down here, and if you look a little bit over there, we'll zoom, that is called Cannon Mountain over there. And probably in a few more months, if we get a ton of snow, people will be skiing. It's getting a little cool right now, so it could actually snow tonight. But I'm going to tell you, I wonder if it works. I wonder if man just made that up. Does it actually echo? If you look at the way it flows, all of this water and the way the stones are, it's worth the shot, right? Hello? Hello? Looks like the only thing I got was a bird flying by, and that didn't even respond. Oh well, we tried. It's a beautiful night down here walking on Echo Lake, and look there's a beautiful blue herring right there. There's a reproach. Oh, it's taking off. Oh well, the blue herrings are trying to fish. Well, there's part of the setback of Cannon Mountain right there. And those are pretty steep hills, I'll tell you, coming down and around. So you know it's getting cold out there when the last thing of summer and then going into fall, you got the camp going. And look at this, it gets better. You actually can do marshmallows over an open flame in camping. Look at that. You just can't make that up. It's getting cold out there, so what a better way to do it? Under a fire.